So today's fun topic, okay, not so fun actually, just a little sarcasm in there, I guess, is a cultural appropriation. So this has been brought to me by someone who at first was like, oh my gosh, your outfits are so awesome, your makeup is so cool or whatever, blah 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 blah, to so pretty much you're culture appropriating something. Now, what is it that you ask? I guess is being called into question all of a sudden is a J fashion that only started maybe 20 or so years ago. It's called Garu fashion, or Gao, which is, Garu is just the Japanese way of saying Gao fashion. And this fashion is based more so off of trends from, can we guess where it's from? America, the Western world. Because, as we all know, Japanese people did not start wearing Western trends until we started bombing them in, So this particular fashion, this particular subculture is not inherent to regular traditional Japanese society. And with that being said, that these trends of these young people rebelling against traditional cultural standards, it is something definitely new. It is not everyone is doing these trends. It is definitely a rebellious phase amongst rebellious teens and young adults that choose to lead themselves astray from cultural norms of their birthplace. They're using Western trends, Western fashion icons to break away from what is deemed normal and acceptable in their Japanese society. And some of these people are tanning a lot. That is not necessarily, people can tan, but their beauty standards are, we're generally being of paler skin. And I am not a Japanese person. I can only go off of the books that I've read and whatnot, and what is deemed more normal for trends and stuff, especially after beauty blogging for quite almost 10 years. That being said, a subculture does not have a lot of roots and a lot of, am I going the right way? It's not as steadfast as it is if it was normal culture. As if I were to put chopsticks in my hair, that would be cultural appropriation. If I were to wear a shabbily dressed kimono or something out of context, out of maybe a festival where these kimono are accepted and this is their norm, that will be deemed cultural appropriation. And also, jumping back to modern day times, these young Japanese girls are even borrowing elements from black people. So they're borrowing elements from Western culture, they're borrowing elements of braids, they're tanning, they are using more or less the Western way to do makeup to achieve a more Western standard. So one of the biggest things that was brought up, especially in ye olden times, was that some of the people in the West are looking forward to the trendsetters of Gao. It's getting dark also, and it's so loud. We're looking towards these gals in the West that are borrowing elements from our own culture. Of course, it's done in a different way. There's going to be some tweaks and whatnot to how they're interpreting the style, how much the flamboyancy that they want to achieve, to maybe even have their picture put in like egg or something. So to bring to someone that they are possibly culturally appropriating a culture when it's just subculture, when it's just like, it's not even super traditional things taken totally out of context. It's like, are you using that word correctly? I can understand what the meaning of what you're trying to get at, but yes, but it is pretty much pop culture elements, almost, I want to say more or less almost teetering on like the 50 to maybe 60-70% of it being modern day pop culture trends. Everything is more so based on what is deemed beautiful by Western European standards. Some of the girls taking fashion inspiration from hip hop, black culture, braids, tanning and whatnot. So it's like more or less almost grabbing back little bits of something that has been seen from over here, from around the globe, that's been done and internalized and created in a different way. So that is my take on that. I am not the one putting chopsticks in my hair, or forks for that matter. I'm not wearing cheap dress kimono or becoming a geisha or anything. Being a black girl who is doing alternative styles that have very little to do with traditional culture. Like I said, everything is based off of European and Western beauty standards, just done overseas. So who's the real people culture appropriating then, especially when it comes to black hip hop culture? So you can put your comments down below, like, share, subscribe, and let's get talking about something. All right, bye. See you next time.